Good morning, everyone. My name is Andrew Hall. We're going to be talking about J.D. Vance. Once a never Trumper, but now his nose is solidly up former Donald J. Trump's butt. He won bigly in Ohio last night. He is the Republican senatorial candidate, and he's absolutely horrible. Here's a picture of him doing his beefy white guy Christo-fascist moves here. But once upon a time, he was a never Trumper. Once upon a time, he wrote articles for The Atlantic, being totally opposed, publicly saying that he was a never Trumper. But now Donald J. Trump gave him that seat, or gave him the Republican nomination. Donald J. Trump supported him, gave him the official nod, and that's what helped him be catapulted in last night's primary in the Buckeye State. But before we start talking about J.D. Vance, let's talk about the state of Ohio, the Buckeye State. Once upon a time, Ohio used to be a bellwether state. It could have gone blue. It could have gone red. In fact, during presidential elections, it was considered that if you didn't win Ohio, then you couldn't win the presidency. Well, those days are long gone because it is now a red state. But why is it a red state? What happened? Oh, look, a little comic that I made. Why is democracy under threat? Globalization created massive wealth inequalities. Governments didn't protect middle class and working class people. In turn, those people turned to demagogues like Trump and Marjorie Taylor Greene. We can add J.D. Vance in that, everyone. And social media exacerbated this toxic situation. You see, J.D. Vance is just someone who's just going the way the wind blows. He is just an example of a politician who has no real personal virtues, doesn't really believe in anything other than their want for power, than their goals to achieve as much as they can at the expense of others. Links to these articles that I'm going to be talking about is in the description below. Let's do this thing. J.D. Vance won the Republican nomination for U.S. Senate in Ohio on Tuesday, emerging from a crowded field with the help of a late endorsement from former President Donald Trump to win roughly a third of the total vote. 6 other candidates split the rest of the vote, with State Senator Matt Dolan, who broke with Trump and repudiated his lies about the 2020 election being illegitimate, jockeying for second place, and former state treasurer Josh Mandel, an erstwhile moderate who took a sharp turn to the right in an effort to win over Trump voters, was likewise projected to finish behind Vance. And this is from 538, the political website. Here's the actual results. You had J.D. Vance right there at a healthy 341,291 votes. That's what, 32%? And you have Mr. Mandel, the runner-up, at a 24%. So that was a pretty significant win for J.D. Vance. Oh, wait, stop right there. We're going to do you later, Mr. Vance. I have a video that I want to show you, because you may ask yourselves, how bad is J.D. Vance? How bad is this Christo-fascist? I'm going to show you. There's a video. Let's take a look at it right now, everyone. Let me just scroll it back, and let's do this thing.
Fighting the American nation state, if you are fighting the values and virtues that make this country great, the conservative movement should be about nothing if not reducing your power and, if necessary, destroying you.
So for those people who didn't catch that little bit, let's see what J.D. Vance, this Christo-fascist, in case you didn't hear it,
that make this country great, the conservative movement should be about nothing if not reducing your power and, if necessary, destroying you.
J.D. Vance is saying right there, and you just heard it for a second time, that he wants to destroy you if you do not fall under his brand of Christo-fascism. If you're not a Trump supporter, if you don't believe in the big lie, then you should be destroyed. And he and his movement are the people who are going to destroy you. Let's continue.
We cannot let the people who are driving this country into the ground continue to benefit from special privileges, from tax breaks, from subsidies, and from liability.
You know, when he talks about tax breaks, is he talking about churches, mega churches getting tax breaks? I don't think he is.
Protections. That is the simple rule that we should follow. $120 billion of Harvard University endowment is ammunition for our enemies.
Harvard University is trying to do the right thing, everyone. Harvard University is trying to do the right thing. They have a history of presidents of making money from slavery. And so what they're doing, they're giving $100 million. I believe that's the right number, $100 million to help bring about to help diminish racial inequality here in the United States of America. And this is what J.D. Vance is against. This is what he's talking about. We have to stop the people at Harvard from giving away their own money to help the United States of America becoming more of an equitable place. We'll get back to J.D. Vance now.
Can't let the enemy have that much ammunition or we're going to lose. It's that simple. This principle should guide all of our policy response. If you cannot go after the pocketbook of these people, if you cannot make them pay, then you are accepting defeat. It's that simple. We're never going to beat them unless we go after them.
Well, out of his own mouth, he wants to liquidate you. If you're not in his straight white guy brand of evangelical Christianity, then you just got to go. You just got to go. They're going to go after your pocketbook. They're going to go after your money. They're going to go after you, your bones, your flesh, your blood, and your children too. That's what we're fighting against. And that's why I have a register to vote little icon here in the corner. If you're not registered to vote and you're here in the States, please do so. All right, let's see what else J.D. Vance is up to. Dolan, meanwhile, was the only Republican to firmly reject Trump's 2020 election lie. Dolan said that Trump was perpetuating lies about the outcome and that the assault on the U.S. Capitol was a failure of leadership by Trump and an attack on democracy. But he did not reject Trump entirely, saying that he agreed with a former president on many policy issues. Dolan helped his own cause by spending nearly $11 million on his campaign, with $8.5 million of that going to TV ads. His campaign was originally dismissed by many as a vanity project, but a last-minute surge in polling solidified his standing as a serious contender for the nomination. Despite his vast wealth, Dolan was not even the leader of self-funding. And by the way, in case you're from a Commonwealth country, in case you're from a if you're not living here in the United States of America, the amount of cash that we spend on elections is maddening. It's absurd. And that's one of the reasons why this country is falling into Christo-fascism, and democracy is being killed. The honor went to businessman Mike Gibbons, who poured $17 million of his own fortune into the race. Gibbons, who engaged in an embarrassing physical confrontation with Mandel at a debate in March, was projected to finish in fourth place. The Ohio Republican primary saw a torrent of cash from all directions. Former Ohio GOP chair Jay Jenkins spent more than $4 million of her own money in the race, and all candidates and interest groups spent around $66 million on this primary alone. It is absurd, and it is shameful that a democracy would have. It's not. Can we even call the United States of America a democracy? Maybe it's a Christo-fascist oligarchy, or at least it's sliding towards that pretty quickly. All right, well, I'm going to start closing out the show. Once again, links and descriptions to these stories in the description. Thank you. There are no ads on this show. Everything is, I'm supported by generous YouTube members, by patrons, and by people who throw the occasional, super chat there in the chat. And my Venmo and PayPal information is down there. Dee, you're right. The country is at the crossroads. You're right. You're right. And yes, what's up, Cindy Plaza? Glad to see that you're here. David Paul says, good morning. Ohio has ducked itself for decades. Yeah, that's what it is. It's greed and religious fascists. You know, the similar thing. Well, you know what? I'm going to talk about this in the after party after show. The after party after show is at 9:15. The link to be on the panel is down there in the description. Please join us. And I have to be honest with you, everyone. I didn't queue up. I didn't prepare a cat video today. I usually like to end the show with a cat video. Instead, maybe I'll do 2 cat videos tomorrow, right? Maybe I'll just do that. I was very busy this morning. So I'm going to drop the thank you video, and then I'll see you at 9:15. And if I don't see you then maybe I'll see you tomorrow. Take care, everyone.